Alright guys, trying to figure out where to even start here. So, here we go. Give me a minute while I gotta try to compose my thoughts here on how to even go about this movie. Shit. Alright, hang on. Okay. So, Monday, I finally had a chance to check out Evil Dead Rise. Me being kind of a casual fan of the Evil Dead franchise, don't know a ton about it, but casually checked out a few of the movies. All I know is Bruce Campbell's a big standout in them, and majority of them, like the tone they follow is either scary and dark or very campy and funny. I know the last one that came out was very dark and brutal and scary. I think it was the one in 2013 by Fede Alvarez, who directed it. So like I said, I'm a casual fan, but when I tell you that when I first saw this trailer, it was unlike any other horror movie trailer I've seen in a while. I don't know what it was, but it hooked me instantly. I don't know if it was the vibe of the trailer, how it looked. It got my attention. So lo and behold, the movie comes out Friday. Don't get to see it over the weekend. See it Monday. When I tell you right now that I kind of had an idea of what to expect going into it. I knew it'd be scary. I knew it'd be dark. I knew it'd be really violent and brutal and gory and just all of that dark humor in there. I kind of knew what it was going to be like, but I didn't know if it was going to be more the campy Evil Dead or the dark Evil Dead. I mean, the way it was looking, it was going to be more like Fede Alvarez's 2013 remake. When I tell you this right now, I went in there, expectations for what an Evil Dead movie is, got it, right, in my head. I'm like, okay, so it's going to be this, got it down, right? I was prepared. What didn't help was it was like me and three other people. This was during the day. So I went to go see this movie. And I guess I'm just gonna describe it to you guys without spoiling anything as best as I can, because I mean there's not much I can say about it. So basically, this movie moves away from the cabin. You know, in every Evil Dead movie, there's a cabin setting. This movie, they try to do something different. But there is like a cabin type of deal in the beginning. It's like a flashback. So they do still kind of keep that in there to show fans like, yeah, we usually are in a cabin, but we're doing something different. But here's a flashback to the cabin, like some of the older Evil Dead movies. So this movie starts off with a flashback. It's either, I'm trying to think, the events that happen in this flashback are either a day after or a day before everything that happens in the film. So basically you start off in this cabin, in the woods. There's a friend, and then it's her cousin and her cousin's boyfriend. They're all in the cabin. It starts off with like that camera like shot that goes like, you know what I mean, like that, like you're following something through a camera through the forest, which I think is really cool because that's what happens in every Evil Dead movie. So you kind of get that, and then you realize like you're following a drone. So this guy has a drone he uses or whatever. The one girl is very, very sick, like deathly ill, right? So the cousin goes to check on, the friend goes to check on her cousin. Or no, they're family. Sorry, they're family. She goes to check on her cousin, and her cousin is just very, very sick, and she doesn't know what's going on, right? And so the opening of this movie is probably one of the coolest opening title sequences for a horror movie, any Evil Dead movie I've ever seen, but we'll get into that. Basically, stuff happens to where, you know, I'm just gonna try to get into the basic plot here. Stuff happens. The girl gets possessed. I'm not gonna tell you how that happens. She gets possessed. Yada yada yada. She starts saying all the stuff in the book. You should know what book it is from all the movies, the Necronomicon book. And sooner or later, she's the first one that gets possessed by the deadlights, or what do they call them? The deadlights, or something. So I can't remember the name, but it's they're demons or whatever. So she gets possessed. She goes all, freaking nuts and crazy and demonic and shit like that. This movie already starts off freaking brutal and violent. You get the beginning sequence. She just goes absolutely nuts. Tears through everyone at that cabin, the two people at the cabin. And she jumps in the water. And this is why I said one of the coolest title sequences I've ever seen. She jumps in the water. And when she's rising up, the title sequence is on the screen in red. And it says Evil Dead Rise. And it's rising up from the water. It was freaking sick. It's really cool. So, then you jump forward. You follow these two characters. The two characters are Ellie, who's the mom, and then Lily. I think that's her name. No, that's the actor's name. And then I forgot her name. I don't know. I can't remember. It might be Lily. So Lily is a guitarist or whatever, a guitar technician. And so you jump forward, you kind of see her life and everything like that. You find out that she's pregnant, but she's reluctant to be a mom, or what is kind of like, this is kind of how she's feeling. So you get her kind of point of view on it. Then you flash forward to this apartment building in Hollywood, and you see this family, right? You got the mom, Ellie. You got, she has 3 children. Sorry. Jody, Danny, and Bobby, I believe. It's not Bobby. Anyway, there's the mom and then the family. And then they're sisters, so the guitar technician, the sister, comes over, and this apartment is like all dark, all like no lights, no electricity. It's a very somber, sad environment. You find out the reason why is because Ellie, the mom, is currently going through a bad divorce, and she's not really in the best state right now, and the family's kind of feeling the effects of that. So I mean, I'm gonna be honest, the first half of this movie is pretty slow, guys. It's just explaining all the lore and, getting to know all the characters a little bit, not a ton, but a little bit. But like once you get to like the 45-minute mark, this thing picks up. But we'll get there when we get there. Basically, you get to know about all these characters, etc. The setup for how they get possessed is a little weak. I'm not gonna tell you how. I wish it was a little better thought out. That's all I'm gonna say about it. Setup for how it's done, I feel like could have been executed more. But basically what happens is, I'm not going to get into the thick of it, but I'll just kind of give you the small point of it. Basically what happens is something happens that opens up a hole in the ground, and something in there is the reason why all these events happen. It's not the book, it's something else. Basically, whatever's in there, the stupid kid, the kids in horror movies are, whatever. The stupid kid grabs it, not knowing what the hell it is. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but they go back to the apartment. Oh, because they were sent out to get pizzas. So an earthquake happens, something opens up a hole in the ground. A kid grabs something that he really shouldn't have. And then, yada, yada, yada. They get back to the apartment. This kid he's a DJ. He's like he like DJs, right? Does records and stuff. So, I guess I have to tell you what it is to kind of understand it. He grabs a record, from this vault, and he doesn't know that the record is cursed or whatever, etc. like that. It's a record that's cursed, and you probably should never, ever touch it or play it. Kids will be kids. He grabs it. He plays it thinking it's a music record. Don't ask me. He also grabs the book of Necronomicon. Right? The book with like the teeth on it. Grabs that, grabs the record, gets out. He hears all these voices when he's down in the vault. And he's not sure what it is, so he just leaves. Go back to the apartment. And this is where things kind of went. I could see where they were going with it, and they did not pull any punches. They went for it, and they told you they were going to go for it, and once they went for it, there was no turning back. You get to this part of the movie. This is coming up right now. This is quick. He starts playing the record. He starts hearing voices with the record. That's... Obviously, he opens the book, so all this stuff is contributing to the demons coming out and being summoned or whatever. The first one to get possessed by these demons is the mother, and this is basically how it works. They open all this shit, right? The record, the book, they're released. The mother goes to do laundry, and then she is coming back, and you see like a camera shot panning on her, and something goes flying towards her. Right? And that's the demons, essentially. They possess her. She's trying to fight it. She can't. Alyssa Sutherland, the actor who played Ellie, I gotta give her 100% props on the performance she did while being possessed by these demons. Some of the things she was able to do, her mannerisms, her movements, everything, was really freaking creepy. Like very, very creepy. So she gets possessed, and lo and behold, I'll get to the point in the movie where I knew they were not turning back. But once you get to this point, it goes crazy. She gets possessed. She starts terrorizing the whole family with some crazy stuff. I'm not going to get into it. I want you guys to see it. Starts terrorizing the family. Then slowly, one by one, the rest of the family gets possessed by these, demons. And then, stuff happens, scares ensue, violence, bloody, gory ensues. Now, I'm going to say this right now. If you're not particularly okay with violence towards kids in horror movies, do not go see this, because they do not hold back when it comes to that. I'm going to be 100% with you right now. They go full head on, pull no punches, don't look back. It is some of the stuff that happens to this family and these kids are really effed up. So if you're not a fan of that, if you don't think you can handle it, do not go see this. So, I'm not even going to get into it. It's very violent, very bloody, very gory, very scary, very tense. Very, very, very effed up. Scares ensue, violent, bloody, goriness ensues, kills ensue, all that shit. And you get to, the halfway point, the mother's acting crazy and all that shit. Then this movie moves really quick, but you don't feel it. I mean, it's got a good pace. The first half is slow, but once you get to that 45-minute mark, this thing moves fast, and it's got a good pace to it. You get to the end where... Now, they showed a lot of what Ellie, Alyssa Sutherland's character, does in the trailers. Some of the stuff she does when she's possessed in the trailers. But there's some stuff in here that you guys are not going... You're not going to believe some of the stuff that's in here that they don't show in the trailers. I'm not going to get into it, but they didn't show it on purpose, which I'm glad they didn't. Anyway, you know, stuff happens, and you get to, like, the almost end point. You know, they're all... The family, you know, everyone except the aunt and the little girl is possessed right now. And whatever they did at the end with the creature at the end, oh wait, no, sorry, let me go back. Whatever they did, you guys are not going to believe what's at the end. They did something completely different for Evil Dead standards, and it paid off. It is really, really awesome, and it looks really, really good. Anyway, the end happens. You know, you get your classic Evil Dead Rise Evil Dead Easter egg with the chainsaw and the wood chipper and all that, and you know, she fights off the aunt, fights off the demons at the end, and you know, they die, and then, you know, then before the credits roll, you get another flashback, which is, in fact, a day after the previous events of what just happened, with that same girl at the beginning getting possessed by the demons. And then that obviously led into the cabin scene. So, I mean, I try to explain this as best as I can. I mean, I might have said some stuff that I shouldn't have, but this movie is left me for very little words. I didn't know how to really make a review on it. But like I said, it is effed up. It is violent. It is brutal. It is gory. It is dark. There's some comedy in there, but it is dark humor. If you are not a fan of really effed up psychological horror movies, then do not go see this. This one was even worse and more scary because it was based on a mother getting possessed and her doing all these horrible, awful things to her family. That's why this movie was even more effed up than some of the other horror movies out there. But if you're a fan of Evil Dead, you're going to love this movie. And if you're a fan of horror in general, you're going to love this movie. The only people that I don't think will like this movie is, like I said, the people who don't like very effed up themes and effed up horror movies and dark humor and violence and gore and just brutal stuff, especially towards children, because like I said, some of the stuff they do in here, they don't hold anything back. They go for it and they don't pull any punches. But myself, I like that type of stuff, so I enjoyed this film. Not being a huge fan of Evil Dead Rise, just like a casual fan, it's everything you want in a horror film, and it's even got Easter eggs to other Evil Dead movies, but it's not heavily reliant on that. So I'm proud to say that this is probably right now up there for my favorite horror movie of this year. I plan on seeing it again soon, whenever I can, because I really enjoyed it. To make maybe a spoiler review, potentially, to talk about all the crazy Easter eggs in there and all some of the other small intricate details in there. But all in all, definitely up there for one of my favorite horror movies of this year. And like I said, if you're an Evil Dead fan, go see it. If you're a horror fan, go see it. If you don't think you can handle everything I told you it's about, then do not go see it. Lee Cronin did a great job with this film, bringing this series back. He went the more Fede Alvarez way with it, which I think paid off. I don't think the kills and stuff are as brutal and gory as the Fede Alvarez movie in 2013, but it's still up there. Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell, you know, being behind the producing it, great job. I always love Sam Raimi in the type of flavor he brings to his films. There's some Sam Raimi like one-liners in there that I wish were in there a little more, because like I said, this is not a comedy. This is a movie that you're going to be on the edge of your seat the whole time, tense the whole time, scared the whole time. So I wish there was a little bit more comedy in there, a little more Sam Raimi comedy in there. And I also kind of wish for a movie that dealt with this heavy topic in portraying this so dark as it did. I wish we got to know a little bit more about the family and why all this, like, why, like, you know, like more about their backstory. Because, like, everything they had to go through, and everything the mom was doing, just in general, you know. I wish I knew more about that. But other than those two negatives, overall, I'm very, very happy with this film. I had expectations for it. It met my expectations. Now, like I said, I'm a casual fan of Evil Dead, so if I was to rank them, I'd have to watch them again. If that's something you guys want to see, let me know. But last thing I'll say, like I said, if you're an Evil Dead fan, you're gonna love this film. If you're a horror fan, this is the quintessential horror movie that you know, that you like, this is what horror is. So go check it out and let me know what you guys think of it.